Hello.
What's going on?
Nothing much. Just woke up to watch you be my ex after um barely got through 90 Day Fiance because it was just late, but I really wanted to stay up and watch it. So I was like, you gotta stay awake. This is hilarious.
It was funny. It was a good
Like
show.
they were throwing each other under the bus left and right. That was the funny
Mhm.
part. They were just.
Mhm.
I'm like, this is more entertaining than the show.
Yep. What I like the dynamic when all of them get together
Yes.
because you would think at least the Ukrainians would have some sort of camaraderie, but then again, that Julia's Russian, so I guess.
Right. Julia has no chill. She's like, I'm gonna talk about everybody.
Well, consider it. And but she started out. We'll get into it. We'll get
Right.
into it. Okay, guys, welcome to the commentary zone, noontime edition. Um, as you enter the room, please don't forget to give us a like. Let me see if I can remember to do that myself today. On the docket, jeez, on the docket today, we have it's our TLC Tuesday. We have 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, and You, Me, and My Ex. Good Lord. I want You, Me, and My Ex to be over with, to be quite honest.
You know what happened? It started off with such. You know what happened? I think what it was is that it started off with such a bang, but it went into production mode. That's what I got from it.
And the
You know what I mean?
storylines were a little improbable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. That's what happened. It started off like, okay, this is good, this is good. Then you're like, wait a minute. I don't think this is possible.
Like, who would do this, honestly?
On purpose.
Yeah. Okay, so don't forget, guys, give us a thumbs up if you haven't already. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, tell a friend. Now, let's get in to it. Hey, Montana. Welcome. All right. We're going to start off with 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After.
Of course.
Okay, so this is season 6, episode 16, Tell All Part 1. Who you want to start with?
Oh my goodness. There's so much to choose from. I said we just start with Brandon and Julia. Because she was funny. She
Mm-hmm.
said that she wasn't going to say anything. She would keep her mouth shut. That did not last long.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I almost said, well, we didn't really get to them during this episode. And then I remembered, yeah, Betty and Don or Ron were there. So yeah, we did highlight on them. So basically, they've still moved out. They're still in their apartment. She's extremely happy. He's regretting his decision. We find out from Ron and Betty that Ron has had some medical issues. He's going through treatment. He hasn't disclosed fully what it is. Um, and they are putting out an offer on the table. The house next door is for sale. They are willing to put down the down payment on it to get the kids to move back closer to them.
I personally, this is just me thinking long term. I would take that offer.
I would too. Let me
I
hear
would
what
take
your
that offer.
reason is.
The reasoning is, Moga's what's gonna happen. This is in theory. So what you do is they put down the down payment, right?
Hmm.
And you do that because you'll actually have equity, which could help you in the future. And
Hmm.
then what happens is if this is the house next door, if the parents decide to retire or something happens, they want to move, you have all that land. It's
Hmm.
all yours. And then most likely what's going to happen is they, excuse me, they will probably chip in on the mortgage as well.
Yeah, my only thought was future thinking. You can merge the two parcels of land if they're side by side. Because the
Exactly.
parents keep on saying all of this is going to be yours.
Mhm.
But I also hope that Ron and Betty have that in the will, or at least Ron has it in the will, that all of that farmland goes to Brandon, because if there's other siblings and there's no will, it can be contested. So if that is the case and there is no will, at least he'll have a small piece of land that is
Mhm.
his in his name and he doesn't have to fight for it. Um, If it isn't a will and he gets everything, then hey, you just grew the size of the farm. Um, I did not like Julia's attitude. She just came off as really cold and don't careish
Right.
when he was talking about his sickness. So it made me think, okay, so are you a cold bee, or is his medical issue not all of that and they're manipulating Brandon? So my mind went in all different directions with this.
Same. I'm like, I just thought she wasn't being sympathetic towards him. Like, that's still your father-in-law. That's still his dad.
Mm-hmm.
You stand by dad on these things.
Mm-hmm.
But we know how Betty and Ron can be. So I'm like, maybe he just went in for a little touch up or something. You
I
never know.
don't know. Maybe there was like a polyp removal in a colonoscopy. Yeah, 70, you still get colonoscopies. I think it's
Hmm.
after 75 where they're like, we'll let nature take its course. Okay.
Right.
Hey, Trey. Um, yeah. Did you also find it odd how enthusiastic she was at saying how much she loved the dog that's at the farm?
Right, and that was it.
But I'd never seen her be that enthusiastic about Brandon.
Well, that's because she gets mad at him.
Look, Montana says Brandon seemed really unhappy, so something's going on. You know why he's
Oh
unhappy?
yeah,
Because he got to pay bills.
exactly.
Remember, that's what they said the last time. After 2 months, he came back home because he didn't like paying bills. He liked living rent free at Ron and Betty.
Mhm.
So Peter Pan need to grow up. That's all I got to say about
Exactly.
that.
That's the thing. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And which is why they need to like. I mean, Julia's just not thinking straight. That's just all it really. That's what annoys me with her. Ma'am, like the parents are like, okay, we got this. We can do this. Like, who's going to turn down? Who is going to turn down someone's like, oh, like there's this house next door. We'll put down the down payment. And
Mm-hmm.
think about this: the mortgage will probably be less than what you're paying in rent. But I
Mm-hmm.
wonder where they are in their lease as well.
I don't even think that. Well,
Remember this, I'm not sure how far. I'm sure they're towards the end for the parents to make that
yeah.
offer. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Brandon needs to take charge. And like, look, bae, this is what we got going on here. I love you, I understand, but we'll still be in our own place. Yeah, we gonna do this. I'll be like, either we gonna do this or we can get a divorce. I'm sorry, I'm not turning down the house. I'm just not.
Yeah. It's an investment in their future, you
Yeah,
know? And what the sad thing is, I wonder if Betty and Ron could arrange it so that it's only like a gift to Brandon and not
yeah,
Julia.
yeah. You can. All you do is
Okay.
put you because all they would have to do is just put his name on the house. That way, if they get a divorce, it's not communal property.
But
Because what
they
they would
got
do,
it during the term of the marriage, though. Is
right? But that's what
Virginia one of
I
those
would.
states?
You would just put. Oh, how do they do it? You put it in your name, and then but you name him as beneficiary. That way, the house definitely goes to him. So
Okay.
you do beneficiary. You could put it in the will,
Mm-hmm.
but wills can be contested and dragged out. While if he's
Mm-hmm.
named as beneficiary, it automatically goes to him.
Yeah. That would be my only concern if I was the parents. Okay, Trey's like, what are the conditions of that offer? Does their home need to be on the same land as a farm? Well, it's next door, so it basically does become part of the farm unless they make sure that it's separate. See,
Hmm.
this is where estate planning comes into play. Ron, you've been at that age to put that together. Get it sorted out. Take care of Brandon, but also I think there are other kids. Brandon is just the last one. Sort it all out so that there's no arguing afterwards. And of course, the conditions are Ron and Betty will come over. They will go over to Ron and Betty. Somebody's taking care of the animals, and Brandon can be a slacker again. Okay. Who's next? Brittany,
Let's
Julia.
do Asuelu and Kazani's.
Um, there wasn't really much to them. Like they showed up and they had their little comments. Asuela was upset with his family. He's still thinking about going back to Samoa. And she's like, the only thing I remember her saying is like, if his family shows up, she knows he's gonna side with them.
Right. Good
Did
job,
they?
Kalani.
I loved his reaction when Angela showed her boobage.
That was hilarious.
Oh, and he did have one thing when they were talking about Angela and being of a fluffy nature, and Michael was saying in my culture it's okay, we love people who are larger, and he chimed in, he said it's the same way in Samoan culture, so he kind of backed up Michael, not saying that it's healthier, it's just
Hmm.
saying it's culturally accepted. So there was,
Exactly.
I don't think we've gotten to them yet. So they're probably in the next episode.
Yeah.
Um,
I think their big stuff is the next episode because that's when they bring out Asuelu's family.
mm-hmm. And it's the same thing with Elizabeth and Andre. We just got like the little introductions. And she made a comment saying that she thinks she's created more tension with her siblings since he started to work in the family, and he thinks that everybody needs therapy. Um, yeah, they chimed in a little bit on other people. I remember Andre having something to say during the Natalie Mike fiasco,
Hmm.
about who pays our bills.
Right. Right.
So yeah, again, I think that their big package will be in part two.
Agreed.
Let's see if there's anybody else in here that Yara and Jovi.
All
Jesus.
right. I mean, with them two, it's just like she wants a married life, like a married life. Like she wants to be
Mm-hmm.
on the couch by 6, dinner by 7. He wants to be married and single at the same time,
Mm-hmm. But
and that's the
again,
thing.
this is another couple that we didn't get much of.
They were trying to get
Um,
on other people's stuff because it was Jovi's like,
yes,
well, it was Jovi talking about who was the guy you were with in New Orleans.
right. They had something to say also in the Mike and Natalie package, but their stuff I think is being saved for next week as well. So basically, we have Mike and Natalie in this one. We did Brandon and Julia. Tiffany and Ronald had a little bit, and Angela and Michael was the rest. So who you want to do next?
This is Tiffany and Ronald because with these
Okay.
two, I can see both sides easily,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm going to stick with what I've always said. Tiffany, you kind of did this to yourself because you ignored all the red flags with Ronald. And then with Ronald, I get that he wants to be the man and lead. I understand that. And I get that. But the problem with him is this, sir. You haven't shown the ability to take initiative. So how can she trust you to lead and be the real head of the family? And he's not comprehending that. He's not comprehending that. Because I was looking at him like, yeah, she should give you a chance. I understand. But when she's pretty much carrying all of the burden of everything and you're taking no initiative, I wouldn't trust you to lead either. So I blame her for putting herself in this position because there was too many red flags to marry him, and that's just what it is. But then on him, I blame him. It's like, well, she did marry you, red flags and all, but you, sir, have taken no initiative, no drive to do anything because she has to hound him to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he does a little something, he wants praise for it. That's like, no, that's called being a husband and being a father. So I don't think you should get too many kudos for doing the basic.
Well, he's had 2 years to do something.
Hmm.
How long you gotta wait?
Right.
Just saying. He just got a
No.
job.
Right. And
got a
she had
job.
and she had to hound him to get a job though. That's the issue. She had to
Mm,
hound him to get a job. It's not like he went and got the job on his own. And he only got the. And here's a cool part. The only reason he got the job is because they were coming to South Africa. That was the only reason. The only reason. Because if she were not coming to South Africa, I don't think he would. I think he would still be in the same position he was. I really do.
let me tell you, Ronald living on a prayer. That's about it. She should have never married him. She saw
Hmm.
all of the red flags. I'm not sure why we're even still discussing this. And him throwing out her laughing and giggling with the cameraman. Give me a break. You pulling at straws. Because if you being a pain in the ass, why would I want to hang around you? We just had an argument, so I'm gonna go and sit down with people who are civilized and who ain't gonna piss me all the way off.
Hmm. I totally agree with that. It's just insane the fact that it's just them two. I'm like, are you serious?
I will say this about Tiffany though. It gets to a point where for me at least, where I'm tired of talking and I totally
Hmm.
disengage. She seems to be the personality that just keeps on poking, keeps
Yes.
on poking. And that's my irritant with her. You know you in a bad situation, yet you keep on poking.
Like
Don't
my
become a
thing.
statistic in South Africa, girl.
Right. I have a question for you. Were you okay? Were you annoyed with her when she decided to stay after he just threw all her stuff in the living room or whatever?
I was surprised that she stayed for 4 months. She could only be
Okay.
a donkey's backside. Like I would not be. That does not feel like a good place for me or my children to stay.
Okay. Because for me, I was just annoyed that she stayed because like I just from my standpoint, this is just me
Mm-hmm.
thinking. I don't like it when people um yell and scream and do all that stuff. I feel that it's inappropriate. Any anger of any kind of annoys me,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of felt like she should have, you know, left at that point, not stayed. I'm not sure if the borders were closed or anything, so I'll give some grace on that. But I just kind of felt maybe she could have stayed at his mom's or something because yeah, no, mm
I got a
mm
question for you. All right. At some points during their segment, Tiffany was very shrill and snappish to him in how she was saying. Like at one point, one phrase was almost a threat. Do you see similarities between her and Angela? Like Angela just goes all the way over the edge when she's yelling and carrying on, and the disrespectful tone in which she speaks to Michael. Do you see similarities in the way how Tiffany talks to Ronald, just not on such an amplified tone?
Right, there's a thread there. Yes, I can see I can see the similarity.
Interesting. All right. So she also admits that she's about to get the same surgery that Angela got. So she seems very excited. Guess she's getting ready for her next phase in life. Um, Yara says something that she doesn't that Tiffany doesn't let Ronald do stuff with the child. I I think she does ask him to do stuff. It's just that he doesn't step up.
Right.
I thought that was Yara was a little off base on that one for me. What do
Yeah.
you think about when the mothers joined?
I thought like this is where I started nodding off. I had to poke myself up, and I missed. I
Mm-hmm.
will say I missed this part. I heard his mom, and his mom like touched me. She's like, I really would hate to see you get go. I mean, you could tell they have a really good relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
the problem I'm seeing with the mom though, I will say this is that you kind of need to chime in on how your son is wrong. and his issues.
Mhm. Mhm.
So you can love Tiffany. You telling her to stay is not. You're telling her to stay in a bad situation. You need to be talking to your son and say like, "Hey, this is. I can see your side, but these are things you need to improve to save your marriage." And until
Mhm.
that's done, there's nothing you can do. You shouldn't be siding with him completely.
Yeah. I thought she had an agenda because as long as Tiffany is still with him, she doesn't have to deal with Ronald. Do I think she likes Tiffany? Yeah. Do I think she likes her grandchild? Yeah. But I think it's just convenient to have Tiffany there supporting Ronald as opposed to Rhea. Maggie is over it. Maggie is she doesn't care. She is like, let's get this over with. It was a joke from the beginning and let's just move on. So
Mm-hmm.
two mothers, two totally different perspectives. Tiffany shed some little tears and says if they didn't have kids, they would be divorced. They have one child,
Right.
not plural.
Exactly.
Okay, that was it for them. Who next?
Michael and Angela.
Okay. She's lost over 100 pounds and comes
Mm-hmm.
out sashaying like it's a runway.
She's feeling herself,
Um,
which was fun to see. Yeah, I will say that
mm-mm.
it was fun. It was fun to see.
But she also got breast implants.
Hmm.
Interesting. Mm.
But for her frame, with the weight she's lost, I could
Hmm.
see why she got them. Because without them, her proportions would be off, and I can understand why. Because
That's
she's like,
because her belly's still big and her back's still broad.
well, yeah, she was just trying to balance herself out. So like, I get that. I get that because they weren't overly done, which is really good for her. Because you
Hmm.
why have them reduced just to go back to where you were. But these were they were sitting up nicely and they fit her frame. So I'm like, okay, could she have
Hmm.
gone a little bit smaller and gotten away with it? Yeah, but they weren't over the top. So I'm like, okay, I got you.
Oh my God, top shelf a hole. Oh Lord. Here's a bleed from Angela. Oh my God. Oh, Trey says, what frame, Jamal? Angela's back is flatter than a sheet of paper.
I mean, when I say frame, it's more like her stature. She's
Uh
she's
huh.
she's a pretty tall woman, so she
She
can
is a tall woman.
so she can hold. She needs the bubicles to like fill her out a little bit.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna go with, okay?
Okay. All right.
But remember, if you guys think about it, remember she inquired about the BBL. Do you remember that? Because she inquired about the BBL when she was talking about the breast surgery. So who's to say that's not next?
I just can't. I just like she needs to. I'm gonna call a thing a thing because I have one. She needs to deal with the tire around her stomach. That's all I'm
Mm.
saying. The
But
back
oh,
fat is gonna be hard, but you could do something about the tire around your stomach.
but isn't she going? But she hasn't had her other surgeries yet, though.
Well, she
Because
won't stop smoking.
she still has that too. I mean, because she's still supposed to have skin removal, and she hasn't had that yet. Because remember, she's supposed to get the skin removal and the facelift. Those are the two that are left.
She's never gonna get that facelift. Not by that doctor that we saw.
Well, I mean, there's a couple issues there from what we've read recently. So okay, true.
It would have been a whole situation. Yes. But Angela feels that she's the star of this show and she can get away with everything. And they
Hmm.
allow her
They
to.
allow her to.
Like, I didn't appreciate that. I don't think they should have showed that. Like, that was insulting to everybody. And why they continue to condone this behavior, I don't know.
Because she brings because she brings in the ratings, she brings in the views. That's all it really is. If we're being honest, if we're gonna call a thing, we have to call it. they let her get away with so much because she brings in the views. And it's no different than any other reality TV show who does this. They have that one person who most people don't like, can't stand, but they bring in the views because you know they'll do something crazy or say something crazy, so they give them way more rope than they would give someone else.
I just realized something. I made a cup of coffee and I left it somewhere. I
Are you
haven't drank
serious?
it. That's why I'm yawning. I'm like, why am I
Oh,
yawning? I don't know where my coffee got. It's been a rough morning. That seriously just went in my head. Where's my cup of coffee? Okay, so I'll find it somewhere. All right, so okay, so we go into their segment, and it seems Michael is like really liking the new breasticles, but she says you were okay with me going to get the breast implants, but you weren't down with me going to get the surgery that was for my health. Now here's my thing with Angela. Angela is chirping about how she did this all for her health, when we all know in truth and fact originally this was for Mima to become sexy Mima, and how she put this over to Michael was about losing weight to get sexy for him. It wasn't about her health. It was only afterwards that she chimed in about the health. You can't change your tactics. If you had said it was about your health and you had these breathing problems because you were too heavy, the breasts were too big, and da 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 from the beginning, I feel Michael would have been okay about it.
basically, what you're saying, her story's out of order.
It is. Like if you doing this because you want to be sexy, then stick with that. Stick with it.
Hmm.
Don't bring up the health issues, because your one major health issue is them cigarettes.
Yeah, that's true.
Just saying. Okay, change the channel name, the learning channel. Well, we learn a lot about
Right?
different cultures, surgeries. Do we learn anything else? No.
No.
What is the learning channel? Teaching. Change the name. Nah, they're gonna stick with the learning channel. It's stuck. It's they ain't gonna change it. We'd be lost if we didn't know about TLC.
True.
So she starts arguing back and forth, and she's like, crying again. He hurt her over his lack of attention to her during the surgery, and she thought that she was going to die.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, but you thought you were going to die, but you wouldn't quit smoking.
But here's the thing, she did, like, all of the doctors say that the surgeries were successful with no issues. And we know from previous surgical montages, Larissa, that the waking up and the recovery and all of that was quite similar.
Right.
So, yeah, this was probably the first time you were having major surgery, like
Hmm.
a lot of stuff done at once. You were under anesthetic for a very long time. You know, yeah, you could feel she was scared going in. And
Right.
she's only blaming Michael for not picking up the phone when she was calling. But you remember when she was in the taxi cab and she was trying to call Skyla, and Skyla wasn't answering the phone either? And she was like, she couldn't get in touch with anybody. And that's when she started freaking out right before going into that surgery. Why you ain't blaming Skyla?
Because Michael was supposed to be her main emotional support, and he was just basically she was just upset because he was mad at her. That's really what it comes down to. Like he was mad at her for getting the surgeries because her boobs would be smaller,
Mm-hmm.
and she felt like she wasn't a support, and she has every right to feel that way. At the end of the day, that's your spouse, whether they agree with it or not. Any kind of surgery, you stand by your spouse. Period. Point blank. You can't tell me
Mm-hmm.
otherwise. So she has every right to be upset with him about that. But when the surgery was going to benefit him and he was going to get some pleasure out of it, oh, baby, go ahead, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
And she has every right to be mad about that. She
Yeah,
may be a
she
little bit
does. But
outlandish.
I would be upset at Skyla too. because when my mom went for cataract surgeries, like I was there and my brother was ringing my phone nonstop. Like you got an
Well,
obligation to your parent too.
you do, but with Angela in California, Skylar probably had to wrangle all the grandbabies plus all the grandbabies. So yeah, she um I I see where you're coming from, but Skylar has to take over her duties, and then we only see what we see on camera too. That could be some fantastic editing on their part.
Look what Montana says. Nah, Jamal, he had the audacity to disagree with her. I
Oh,
think that's it.
oh, that could. Hey, I'm not so. I can't deny that.
He tried to
But
be a man during this situation.
if
Mm,
he failed miserably, but you know
yeah,
he tried. He
he
tried.
tried, but yeah. And so then they bring up some foolishness about Dr. Obang and his birthday party, and Dr. Obang drove her home. Like, why are y'all soiling this man name? We already know he a cheater, but
Right.
he ain't gonna go. He said he don't do his patients. I
Hmm.
didn't like the insinuation.
Well, no, they were rude, but it's TLC. They messing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, and I think Michael had a valid point because she was like, he didn't know that she went to the party. And he was like, hold on. If I go to a family function, I have to give you my exact coordinates and
Right.
let you know start time, end time, what I'm doing, who I'm with, who I talked to, what I ate, when it pooped out. Like, it's not right. The expectation she has for Michael, but then he can't ask the same of her. That's not a
Right.
marriage.
And she done flew across the country.
Mm,
Michael just probably going 10 minutes away, walking distance.
for real. Hey, Nisei. Welcome, welcome. All right, then they bring in Aunt Lydia. This was a disaster. Aunt Lydia is still saying that Angela need to respect her husband, and
Hmm.
they talk about well, Angela's just screaming that Lydia need to accept that she can't have babies. I think Lydia and his mom knew that you couldn't have babies. They're not dumb. Just like, I don't know why we're still talking about this. Like, I'm really tired of her storyline.
Yeah, it's 3 years old.
And then of course we get the flashing. And that's how the episode ended for their segment. Like she maybe it is, I just don't like people who disrupt the flow of a show.
Right.
And that's how I feel about Angela. Anything else with them?
Nah.
All right, let's go to the most boring couple of all, Mike and Natalie.
But they were the most boring. But their package was the best, though. I'm sorry, it
It
was.
was, it
I hollered.
was, it was.
That was a whole mess. A whole mess.
All right, so they're no longer living together. She's in Florida. He's still in Washington. Um, what did we find out?
Well, we found out that he lost all his employees due to 19, which was like whoa, and he was working a lot because he had to do it, and she
What
was
business does
complaining.
he own, though?
I don't know, but he's been look. You remember we knew he was traveling about 2 hours each way, so we knew that already. No problem there,
Mm-hmm.
but did not know that he lost all his employees.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that, but she's complaining because he wants to relax. I'm like, well, not to be like super rude, but maybe had you had dinner prepared and a cold beer, like when he got in, you guys could have ate, and then you could have had more quality time.
Yeah, just lay down on the couch together and watch TV while he fall
Right.
asleep. Or if he can't stand, like if he just wants to go to bed, then just go and lay down with him and let him mumble off to sleep. That's time together.
That's time. Yeah. That was shocking to me. I'm like you, and to for me, like I said, we do see both sides to a degree, but to me, she just in this whole package, to me, she came out. as supremely selfish. I mean, like even more so than we saw through the season. Like, how are
Mhm.
you gonna get a man? How you gonna be mad at a man who's working this hard to support both of
Mhm.
you? Pretty much will give you anything you want if you ask for it, and you're
Mhm.
mad. You're still mad.
Mhm.
You're still mad. I was looking here. I'm like, bring out the hairdresser lady. Bring out his like barber shirts. The lady, the hairdresser or whoever you want to call her.
Mhm.
Bring her out. And I'm
And
sure she appreciate him.
the thing is, right? He leaves really, really early in the morning, like 4 o'clock in the morning, and then gets back home like in the afternoon. I don't think he gets back home late. So,
No.
like, they have time,
Hmm.
where they can spend time together, even if
Yes.
it's just snuggling. I I agree with you. She did turn this all on herself, very selfishly. She was like, she had a rough time. She gained weight. She went on antidepressants, but didn't really. Like, I was confused about that part. Um, I, it was no compassion for Mike,
None.
and he's
Like
he's your husband, and he's providing for you.
it was just like no appreciation at all. Like zero. I was in her like, are you serious? Do you know how many women out there will love a man who has a job? Just a
Hmm.
job. Just just a job. Not let alone running the company and doing everything until he can
Hmm.
hire employees back. I'm like, what are you doing all day?
Hey, Ethel. That's right. No pleasing Natalie at all. She didn't put any effort towards the marriage. That's right. She
Mm-mm.
put effort in to get married in that last minute attempt to bully him and not bully him, to push him into getting married, and then all effort evaporated.
Yep.
Um, let's see. So she's in Florida, and what's your name? Sean asked if she's seeing anybody. If Mike's seeing anybody, he say no. As if she's seeing anybody, and she does that. And so then Jovi asks, "Who was that guy you was with us in New Orleans?" Mm,
Right.
mm.
Oof.
She gave some convoluted answer. She didn't want to be by herself. She really wanted to meet Yara, and it was some person from the Russian
Some random
community.
though. Some random though.
Mm.
Allegedly.
Yara says that she asked her if her and the gentleman were together, and there was no clear answer. And Yara asked in Ukrainian or Russian, so that
Exactly.
so that Jovi went here. Oh my God. Then Tiffany says it looks bad.
Yeah.
The scenario with the Russian random. And then Julia said, "How you leave? How you leave?" Best thing that came out of Julia's mouth the entire episode. And of course, she gives that stupid little, it looks like a demented baby doll from like at
Mhm.
turn of the century.
I know
It's
you. I know
just
what you're talking
very
about.
weird. And what's his name, Mike says, she still has my bank card, so he's funding
The
her
big
life
card.
in
The
Florida.
big card though.
What
You
big
remember he
card?
said that? He's like, oh, she has my big card. So she
I
got
thought he
the
said the bank card.
no, the big card. That means his highest
Oh.
limit credit card. I caught that. I'm like, oh,
Oh.
you let her have access to the big card? Are you serious? I'm
Mm-mm-mm.
like, okay, I see you now.
Yeah, Ethel, she was mad at Jovi for bringing that out, because you saw the side eye. She cut her eye at him. I was like, oh, okay, okay. Um, he says that after the show, he is going to disable the card that she has, and he's filing for divorce. And then that look was turned on Mike.
Yes,
Did she really think this was gonna last forever?
that was my question. I'm like, I don't think he's gonna support you forever for no reason.
Mm-mm.
I'm like, okay, do you?
Okay, so it's Trish's turn to come on, And she says she's encouraging Mike to get a divorce, and she can tell that Natalie doesn't love him, and it's always been about her. And Trish denies calling her a hooker, and she's adamant about that.
Mhm.
Um, and then Natalie brings up something about 2 hours after Mike proposed to her, she found naked pictures on his phone. And Mike admits that it was from an ex who was trying to get back to him, but he told the ex that he was proposing to Natalie. Why didn't you delete the pictures? I mean, really?
I think he deleted them, but he didn't double delete. I don't know what kind of phone you have to where when you delete it, it just doesn't go away. But that's the way it sounded to me.
Mm.
Because some phones, like I thought these were just older phones, where if you delete something, it deletes it, but it goes into your trash bin if your phone has that, and then you have to go into the trash bin and delete everything out.
No, but Natalie says she was in his photos. So did he
Oh, she's
save
actually
it
in the
to his
photos. Okay.
photos?
Oh, like he saved it to the album.
Yes, because
Oof.
they were taking pictures of their proposal, and he gave
Gotcha.
her the phone and said, check them out and see if they look okay.
I
And then
misunderstood
she
then.
sees
Okay.
she sees the pictures there.
Ooh,
So
he must have saved them to his album. Oof.
yeah, bad move.
Ouch. Yeah, no bueno.
Okay, so let's see. This is when Angela jumps in and says that she's sick and tired of Natalie being the victim and go back home. And then Julia jumps in and says, go back home because it makes it difficult for the rest of us who really want to be married. Yara says that Trish was too involved in their relationship. Um, and that was like their segment. Then we see Natalie talking to Trish privately after they break.
Oof. I mean, I get. I mean, is Trish a little too involved? Yes, but in this situation, I can't fault her because
Mm-hmm.
you can see all these red flags. He's unhappy. Like, yeah, I mean, I get it because
Mm-hmm.
Nally is, and you hate to side with like Trish on this thing because you don't want to paint that Nally in that picture like, oh, you're just trying to get to America. But in this situation, based on Nally's behavior, you kind of have to side with the mom on this one. And I really didn't want to do that.
I'm not siding with anybody. I think all three
Ooh,
of them are douchebags. I really do. I think I will hold true to this. I feel Mike and Natalie had an arrangement so that he can get out of debt and he can
hmm,
bring her over here to get the green card. If my wife walked out on me at Christmas time, why would I let her take a car? Because whose car was that she drove in? Was that hers or Juliana's?
that was Juliana's.
Okay. All right. So she ain't take no car. Why she got the credit card and why am I still paying her bills?
Well,
I'll pay your bills once you still at my home, but I'm not paying for your cross country jaunt. No. That's why this isn't adding up for me. All of them are big stoops. And yes, Trish is very intrusive, but you need to take off your blinders when it comes to your son.
hmm,
And then there was okay, so when Natalie and Trish are talking, um Natalie Trish brings up that Natalie falsely accused Bo of stealing jewelry when she knows that she pawned it at a pawn shop in town.
that killed me right there. The pawning killed me.
And then Trish tells her, "You haven't even told your mom that you left my son." And then Natalie rushes to the green room to call her mama and tell her mama finally that they are done. Natalie a little liar.
Hmm.
Mike is a liar too. And
Mm,
Trish so busy at pointing out all of Natalie's flaws. Child, look at your son too.
yeah, he's
Look
not
at your son.
innocent, but he's more the injured party than Nally is. I will say. And then if we're going with your theory, I think
Mhm.
Trish is in on this too. 'Cause I'm sure she's getting a little check or something.
Yeah, yeah, probably. I don't
But I will
know.
say this: Trish did put on the performance, though. I'm not mad at her.
She
She
spilled
came
the tea.
through.
She
She came
spilled it.
through. She came through. She's like she was. I think Trish is the MVP of this episode because she just came through. Her performance was brilliant.
Big Bad Wolves 4, yes. I don't like Natalie, Trish, or Mike either. Okay, so Trish is MVP of this
Yeah,
episode.
but this episode I'm gonna give it to her simply because she
Hmm.
just came through, with the with the tea, and then she also came through with the performance. I mean,
Hmm.
she gave us a complete total package, which is what we need.
Hmm. Okay, so that was 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, Season 6, Episode 16, Tell All Part 1. We'll talk about Part 2 next week. So let's see. You, Me, and My Ex, Season 1, Episode 8, Exposing the Truth. Who you want to talk about first?
Let's do Jimmy and Lisa, Jack and Wendy. Those people.
Jimmy. Okay. Oh, yeah. Jimmy Lee.
So
Okay, yeah, yeah.
this one, this was kind of a letdown in a way because I mean I understand
You
she was.
wanted an outside baby so bad.
I mean, for her to be like that upset and like holding on to this for so long, I really wanted something just borderline catastrophic. But I understand that he cheated on her while she was pregnant. I do
Hmm.
understand that.
Hmm.
That is devastating. I get it.
Hmm.
And then her upsetness um caused her to go, I guess, go into labor early. I mean, I thank goodness everything worked out,
Hmm.
but I just I wouldn't hold on to this. I, okay, here's the thing. For you to be that upset all this time, how are you still like such good friends with him? If this hurts you that bad, her the way she painted this, like
Hmm.
you thought her whole world would crash down. She'd be hating him. Like no, it wasn't. Like he did a really terrible thing. Don't get me wrong, but it's not to the level that you made us think it was. I thought he might have had an outside baby with your sister and something like that. I was thinking on that level, but him cheating on you while pregnant, yes, it's like I said, it is terrible. But the way you paint him out, no.
Okay. I'm gonna throw something out to you because when she said that, she found out he was cheating on Valentine's Day. It sent her emotionally over the edge, which
Right.
then brought on preterm labor, which then brought, she said something, a medical term, and
Yes.
there was massive blood loss. And
Right.
I'm thinking, well, what if this is similar? And this is way back when. What if this is similar to what MJ had, which has now caused her to not be able to have any more children?
Right.
I would
I
hold
would.
on to that too. But my question was, how nobody else in the rest of the family know about this?
Right.
Y'all are Yaki Patty, New Jersey people. Y'all can't keep nothing quiet. I can see you not telling your son. But how everybody else don't know?
Exactly. And that, to me, it wasn't like I said, it wasn't as big of a secret as she made it out to be. You know. But what she's doing, which how for me, I didn't like the way this was done. Though simply because the way she phrased it, she's blaming Jimmy for her medical complications. That's the way it came across to me.
Mm-hmm. And in my head,
And
I would him too. In the
mm-hmm.
moment, like when all of that is happening to me, and then massive blood loss, preterm baby, like all of that. Because she said 6 months.
6 months.
She said 6 months.
Yeah, six
And
months.
he's 21.
Right.
Oof, 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 oof. Like in the moment, I would have been blaming him. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
I'm petty. In the moment, I'd have been blaming him. And then if it is that she can't have more children because of this, I would have been blaming him. And that's why you're right. I agree with you when you say how they could be such good friends.
That's my thing. That's my main issue. Is he did all this? You blame. She probably does still blame him. But how are y'all such good friends? I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm. And then to find out that her and Jack have been married for 8 years, I'm like, okay. I was like,
Yes.
alrighty then.
And that's another thing too. Like I get it. They were supposed to get married,
Hmm.
but his mom died.
Yes.
And I could understand him because he looks like a mama's boy, him not wanting to do a celebration right after the loss of his mom. So
Right.
they just went to the courthouse. But my thing is, does the kid not know that she's married to Jack for 8 years?
He didn't know. Nobody
And
knew.
she should have just left it at, we didn't want to do anything. We didn't want any commotion or anything like that. We just wanted to get married. It was after his mother died. We figured we'd tell you eventually, but we just never
Right.
got around to doing it. But then she threw in there, you know, your wedding was hard for me. So I just figured that my wedding would be hard for you. No,
No.
shut up.
Yeah. I want you to be quiet on that one.
I just feel like she's been needling Jimmy for years and she's just good at it.
Right.
It's a
Agreed.
mess. But yeah, it was a letdown. It was a letdown. Who's next?
Let's do April, Lauren, Roy, and John.
Lauren threw a bachelorette party for April, and April's family came over, and they're still not understanding this relationship. April is moaning that Roy has totally disengaged. And thank God John was not on here. That's what I got out of this.
Same. This wasn't that important, to be honest.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
I learned nothing.
Except that Lauren and John have matching tattoos
Right.
of lips.
I thought it was April. Yes, Lauren. Lauren's the
Yeah.
ex. Lauren's the ex. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. I don't have anything else on them.
No, it was a complete waste. They could cut this
Who
whole scene out.
who's next?
Let's do. What was it Chantel,
Oh,
Jennifer, Josh? That
yes.
situation.
Yeah, Chantal had to go. She went for her regularly scheduled uh doctor's appointment for the baby, found out she had high blood pressure, so she was admitted to the hospital with preeclampsia. They induced her, but that took days. Like
Right, like 5 days, right?
it was a lot. Like yeah,
Yeah,
no, wait, hold on.
they were there for five. I know they
Day
were there for
3, they
5 days.
finally did the C-section
Right.
because her water had been broken for 24 hours, so it like time ran out for her to push it out. Um, and then by day 5, we see them, they're in the NICU and the baby has something called Crohn's. Um,
Mm.
and Josh, to his credit, he does bring his son with Jennifer to the hospital to see her because she's been there the whole 5 days with Chantal and the baby. Like you could see her nerves are frayed. It's
Yep.
stressful. It's a lot. And I like when she commented, she goes, I could see it from Josh's point of view, like how he was when I was delivering.
Hmm.
And, I think she kind of feels the helplessness of every man in a situation in childbirth. You know, if things go wrong, it's even worse, you know? So their whole montage was kind of scary for me because it just kept on going from bad to worse to worse to worse. Ugh. Yeah. Hey, Paranormal Witch. Hey, Heidi. Um, hopefully the baby's gonna be okay. Do we see an
Exactly.
end to them? I can't
No,
remember.
they're still there from what I
Yeah,
can tell.
yeah. We got up to day 5 with them. Um, Chantal looks fine. It's just that the baby has this crooms thing. So I
Hmm.
meant to look it up, but I didn't. So if anybody knows in the chat what it is, let us know. But yeah, prayers to Jennifer, Chantel, Josh, and Danielle, and baby Camila. Okay. Anything else for them?
Mm-mm.
So then next, you want to do Alex and Caroline or
Alex and
Jerry?
Caroline.
Okay, Alex, Caroline. He proposes to her at a cat cafe.
That was hilarious. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. He was so nervous. And the one thing I will have to say about this show is about Alex. I feel like he's been an open book and an open nerve throughout this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then the second thing I have to say about him, I can appreciate his communication with Caroline.
Yes.
They have the best communication on any show that I've ever seen in reality TV world.
I completely
And
agree. It's just
yeah.
they're not afraid to say what they have to say, and
Mhm.
I enjoy that about them.
Mhm. The one takeaway I have from their scene, and she does say yes, so they're officially engaged. Why didn't he put on any lip balm on his lips? They were so dry and ashy.
Mm,
I couldn't stop. Like I don't even know what that ring looks like because I was there focused on his like ashy lips.
gotcha.
Ugh. Maybe he forgot it because he was nervous. I'll cut you a break, Alex, but next time get it together. All right. Last but not least, Kay, Jerry, and Jessica. They had
This
the
was hilarious,
last segment at the very end of the show.
but it was hilarious. I thought that I really thought she was in there with somebody else. I'm not gonna say her in front. I really did. But when he's knocking, like he's all scared, like where is she? She always has her phone. She's not answering. But I guess she called the producers called her, right? Is that what the way
She called the producers because
she
he
called the
kept on
producers?
calling and they were getting ready to call the police.
Right. So she said basically, I know I was sitting there, I was there, I was thinking about it. I'm worth more than this, and I'm out. I was like, she like how is she by far the youngest but the most mature?
Mm-hmm.
That's what struck me is that she's so mature. She because she's been trying to get this together herself this whole time, and no one's being honest with her. So she said, "I'm gonna take it into my own hands," and that's what
Mm-hmm.
she did. I was impressed with her that she wasn't gonna go along with this foolishness.
Well, I love it because she pulled the okey doke on him. He came over there looking for like some afternoon delight with some balloons, and she was like, "Bye," and with his only key.
Right.
With his only key. This was priceless. It was like 5 minutes of bliss. And it gives Jerry a taste of his own medicine because I feel like he pitted the two women against each other. And in some instances he was more accommodating to Jessica than he was to Kay. Like, how did you think that whole situation was going to go down? It was just dumb. Yeah, I hope her mother contacted her and said, "This is stupid. I'm coming to get you. Be ready in 15 minutes when I roll up."
Hmm. And I don't think I don't what it is with him. I don't think he pitted them against each other, but he fed into it.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't stop it. He didn't um put Jennifer in her place because she's overstepped too many of her bounds. Too
Well,
many.
that's
There's
because he
no
was getting off on having two women in his house.
and fighting over him.
Hmm. One to take care of him physically, and then the other one emotionally and sexually. Like, that is like the nastiest thing ever. And he got his just desserts with
He
what
did.
she did, you know? Um, did we miss anybody? I think we got everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, we got everybody.
So that was You, Me, and My Ex, season 1, episode 8, Exposing the Truth. Um, is next week the finale?
I'm going to say yes because it's the wedding.
Whose wedding?
April and John's.
Oh, well, I don't care. Okay. All right. So they have 9 episodes as well. Okay. So not bad for a little season.
No.
Not bad. Not bad. Um, let's hope that they get better couples for next season.
Yes. This went off the rails pretty quick. But I would like to see who was it? Carol was it Caroline's and Alex's wedding on the show. I would like to see that personally.
Oh, we can give them a 1 hour special, half hour, 1 hour, something. And Kay can sing at the wedding,
Yeah.
something to help her career. Okay, guys, let us know your thoughts on 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After, the Tell All Part 1, and You, Me, and My Ex, Episode 8, Exposing the Truth. Leave your comments below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And most importantly, if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Tell a friend. Follow us on Twitter and on IG. Any final thoughts, my friend?
No, we're good.
Okay, so tomorrow, are you ready for Love After Lockup?
I need to watch it today, but I'll be ready.
Okay, so guys, bring your jailhouse best and meet us back here tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific for Love After Lockup. Until next time,
Of course.
bye.
Bye.